Good morning, Gracie. Good morning, world. How's everybody doing today, huh? Yeah, you doing good, Gracie? Yeah, she is. Yeah, Gracie's doing fine. Yesterday I did a video about being grateful, and I mentioned something about what about those monks? I said it 2 or 3 times, I think. Well, later on in the evening, my son from Madison called, and as in the conversation, I said, "Hey, what about those monks?" And Alex responds with, "Huh? What monks?" The monks, the guys marching from down in Texas all the way to Washington for peace. Oh, really? He says. Well, I'm going to forgive him for his lack of attention on what I'd consider to be a fairly important event, uh, because he just was in an operation. Yeah. That's some stuff removed from his body, and he's in the midst of recovery at the moment. So he's really focusing on his own health and well-being more than anything else. But I'm also discovering that, I found the monks marching on YouTube, and that's where I found them. And there was it's a Vietnamese station that was broadcasting it. I did find Fox Atlanta. This is the only time I ever watched Fox, and there was nothing on YouTube, at least by NBC, CBS, ABC. Wasn't being covered. It didn't look like much by the major networks, but I'm not watching TV anymore, so I don't know. Or TV news. What's happening there? But anyway, I said that yesterday in the video, and now I'm beginning to think that maybe a lot of people went, "What in the heck is he talking about?" Yeah, it's almost as if these monks came halfway across the world just to try to remind Americans what they're about. Yeah, and that we did also once have a peace movement, not that we ever really believed in peace. America is the largest purveyor of death on the planet. But despite the fact that they take my tax dollars and use and build bombs, I there isn't a whole lot I can do to stop them from that. But I think most people here in the street, most reasonable, normal human beings understand that peace is the pursuit. Yeah, without peace you have nothing. Yeah, and the men that wage war, those people that wage war, they're in delusion. War is psychologically unbalanced people. They're attempting to get something by force out of somebody else that wasn't theirs, or retaliate for somebody else taking stuff that was theirs, and so on and so forth. There's never a good motivation behind attempting to kill each other in mass. There was always another option. Yeah. So these guys came here from halfway across the world. They came from Thailand. They came from Vietnam. They came from Cambodia. They came from all sorts of places in South Asia. The dog with them even was picked up in India on the way. Okay, they came halfway across the world to come over here and remind us what the heck we're all about, or at least used to be about, back when we believed in personal freedoms, liberties, truth. Truth. Whoa. Let's see, what the heck was that Superman? Truth, justice, and the American way. What is the American way? Let's ask that question of ourselves seriously, because this rumpus that we have there in office, this is not the American way. These monks are trying to remind us of that. Yeah, this paranoid approach to being afraid of everything, everybody is your enemy, etc., etc. That's mental illness. That's not politics. That's not leadership. No. The people that are in charge in our country right now, a very large portion of them are severely disturbed mentally. And they really don't reflect most of the rest of the way we think as people in general. Not when you boil it down. Because I saw this. When those monks left in Texas, there were a few hundred people. But by the time they made Atlanta, Georgia, there were thousands. People were coming out in the streets to see them. The only reason those monks are walking is for peace. They're making an issue of themselves. Now, that's a long walk. These guys are not necessarily in the best of health, okay? And so this is very challenging to walk that distance. And it's winter, and so it's not warm, even in the south. I am sure that these guys are frequently quite uncomfortable. I'm sure they have blisters, yep, and rashes and whatnot from all of that. You know, but they come here to remind us. Because, man, we're slipping. Yeah, this country's slipping. We really are. We're sliding down into a black hole, and it's caused by our fear. Folks, you gotta stop responding to the fear. They're throwing it at you. It's trouble coming every day. It's a media drumbeat. Yep, Frank Zappa had it right back in '64 when he recorded Trouble Coming Every Day, man. The media is the drumbeat, and today we have social media has joined it. Oh, the country's going south down the tubes. Oh, everything's wrong. Oh, we're all... Yeah, you want to moan about it all? You go right ahead, but it ain't going to make anything any better. Yeah, you got a bright spot in your life, best focus on it. If a bright spot isn't evident in your life anywhere, well, wander over to YouTube and type in Monk's Walk and see what you get. Because watching people gather around these monks as they head towards Washington, it just warms my heart. There are good people here. There are people that believe in truth. We have been assaulted with lies, untruth, distortions, AI, BS, and all kind of garbage. The monks are real. They said, hey, peace is strong. We're walking for peace. We're here to remind you people, yeah, that you were once, at one time, you were one of the greatest nations that ever came up on the face of this planet because you believed in truth. Come on, let's stick to it. Let's stick to it. Throw these bums out. I'm just waiting for the Tangerine Tariffsaurus to start to diss the monks. These guys are walking right through the thick of it, where civil rights happened back in the 60s, man. Yep. They're walking right through the heart of the Ku Klux Klan with a message of peace. Now, I saw the crowds in Atlanta on the TV tube here on YouTube, and I imagine that was real photography. That was a lot of people. The claim is this strength is building. Well, I'll tell you what, those they're good people too, with their Nazi flags and guns, you know. Ku Klux Klan and other white supremacist organizations and hate groups never drawn a crowd like these monks who are walking for peace. Because peace is truth. We all know it. Hate, it's a delusion. Hate is a misconception, it's a mental illness. But it's socially acceptable, so we can all play games with that one. Yeah, we got a lot of things to realize, folks, in our society that we consider to be normal, but they aren't. They aren't. Yep. I asked Gracie, what would you rather have, huh? Peace and love, compassion, caring, sharing, kindness? Or would you rather have ugliness, hate, prejudice? Yeah. No, that's not truth. Those things are not truth. Just in case you didn't know what I meant when I said, what about those monks? Well, what about those monks? Aloha.